We now present For the Record.
Republicans vote to oust more than half a dozen Evers appointees, while GOP lawmakers make a case to take partisanship out of the redistricting process.
If we are sincere about nonpartisan redistricting, this is the time that we can do it.
Welcome to For the Record. I'm Will Keneally, joining you here from the beautiful state capitol here in Madison. We start this week with an official who Republicans have tried to oust, but who remains at her post. Meagan Wolfe is the state's chief elections official, guiding Wisconsin through recent and important elections, like the state Supreme Court race this April, the gubernatorial race last fall, and the 2020 presidential election. Now, that last election in 2020 has drawn criticism for Republicans, who have voted to reject Wolfe's confirmation earlier this summer. But she remains at her post, arguing that it is not actually up for her confirmation in the state Senate, and that she can remain in place as a holdover. That's subject to an ongoing lawsuit. And joining us now to talk about it is Wisconsin Election Commission Administrator Meagan Wolfe. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to recap a little bit for our viewers. Can you describe just why, in your mind, your Senate confirmation is not properly before the state Senate?
So for me, I mean, this was a big week, and the biggest takeaway from this week is that the lawmakers who have been seeking to remove me admitted in official court filings that I am indeed lawfully holding over in my position. They even went as far as to say that the Senate's attempts to remove me were purely symbolic and had no legal effect. And so I'm certainly glad to hear that legislative leadership agrees that I'm lawfully in my position, but it's unfortunate that it took the Department of Justice having to sue in order for us to get these public admissions of what we all clearly knew all along, which is that I am continuing to be lawfully in my position.
And specific to this lawsuit, I'm curious if the news this week that kind of that admonition that that Senate vote was purely symbolic, does that kind of give more confidence for you to be in this position? Does that give more confidence to Wisconsinites for you to head this agency? And will the lawsuit continue going forward?
So I think what that shows is that this is a political effort by lawmakers to influence elections. And I believed in the position that we took from the start. I serve at the will of my 6-member bipartisan commission, and I'll continue to do so. All 6 of my commissioners have indeed expressed that they have confidence in my ability to do my job. They work closely with me. They've publicly expressed that they believe I do my job well, and they want to see me continue in this position. And so I think that the admissions that the legislature made in their court filing this week, it certainly shows us, what we all knew all along to be true, which is that I am lawfully in my position. But I do think it's really unfortunate, unfair to me, unfair to the people of Wisconsin, that the Senate tried to remove me while at the same time seeming to know full well that what they were doing wasn't lawful. So yes, it is good to have those admissions, but it's also really unfortunate and really unfair that it took this to get those public admissions.
So now you specifically too, you're in a position where you have to maintain monk-like nonpartisanship, but you are also obviously suing the state Senates controlled by Republicans to remain in your post. How do you navigate that, where you have to maintain that nonpartisanship while suing Senate Republicans?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question and a completely fair one. So I serve as the nonpartisan chief election official for the state of Wisconsin. I serve at the will of the bipartisan commission. So I have 3 Republican commissioners, 3 Democratic commissioners. They're all appointed by legislative leadership, and they're the ones that get to decide who the administrator is that carries out their decisions and how they do that. And so for me, if I had given in to political pressures beyond what my commission is telling me what to do, right? Because I need 4 votes of my commission, a bipartisan vote. They give me direction. They tell me if I get to stay in my job. What we're seeing from the legislature is just a purely political attempt to influence me, to bully me as a nonpartisan election official. And seeking clarity in court, the only way that we can do that as a state agency is through our legal counsel, which is Department of Justice. And so I understand the complexities of that, being an office that is overseen by a partisan official as well. But that is our mechanism to get to court to get clarity, because in this instance, we're looking for declaratory judgment, right? We're looking for a declaration from the courts that says, post the state Supreme Court decision in the Prane matter that dealt with holdovers, what do we do? How do we handle that new law that came down from the state Supreme Court? And so that decision is what we need in order for me to get the clarity I need outside of the political process.
So now the state Senate tried to fire you. The state Senate was successful in firing Wisconsin Elections Commissioner Joe Sarneski, largely over his vote over the summer to keep you in your place. We were mentioning, I was talking off air, that you're facing essentially a stretch here where you have deadlines every single day to run state elections now through 2025. How are you just preparing amid all this uncertainty to run a big election coming up here in 2024?
Yeah, that's right. Beginning December 1st of this year is when nomination papers begin to be circulated for next year's elections. And if you look at the election calendar, so the deadlines we have pertaining to the 4 elections that happen in 2024, there is almost not a single day that doesn't have a deadline between December of 2023 and January of 2025. And so all of this has just been an incredible distraction from the really important work that the commission has to get ready for and to administer next year's elections. And so while I think it's a tremendous loss to lose Commissioner Zarneski and all of his experience in the legislature as a county clerk, I'm also pleased to see that immediately there was a new appointment so that the commission can continue to do their very important work, which, there really isn't a day to spare. And so I'm hoping, again, that this lawsuit settles quickly and that we won't see any more of these symbolic actions that serve as a distraction.
Wisconsin Election Administrator Meagan Wolfe, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.